Hello and welcome to a teacher's introduction to Sam Learning Go. Throughout the next few minutes I will introduce you to Sam Learning, explain what it is, how it can be used and also when it can be used. So let's start with the what. What is Sam Learning? Well, it's an online service for revision and exam practice at Key Stage 3 and GCSE. Teachers can use Sam Learning to set homework and also monitor student progress. Students can log into Sam Learning at school and at home and complete a variety of activities in many subject areas that will support and help them understand what they're covering in their lessons. Not only that, but Sam Learning also helps students to prepare for their exams when the time comes. Sam Learning is used in 50% of secondary schools throughout England, and with over 1.4 million students logging in this year and completing an amazing 3 million hours last year, there's a lot of data, a lot of numbers that we can draw down and prove independently how successful Sam Learning is if used at raising attainment and helping your students get those better GCSE results. Okay. So now we know a little bit more about what Sam Learning is, let's see how we can use it to get those better GCSE results. First, we'll log in. The website address is samlearning.com. We need to type in the centre ID, the user ID and password and click sign in. You can speak to the Sam Learning coordinator at the school to check your login details or speak to Sam Learning support direct. Students' login details are nice and straightforward. The user ID and password match, and they are a student's date of birth followed by the initials of their first and their last name. Great, we're in. You can have a look at the activities themselves by choosing the key stage here and then selecting a subject which will then display all of the subject's activities. A student also has access to the same key stage facility to enable them to work independently and choose subject areas they feel they need to focus on. However, you as teachers have access to some powerful functions to help students get the most benefit out of using Sam Learning. You can choose activities for the students to complete as homework. We call this setting tasks. I'll show you how easy it is. First, we need to choose to create a new task and name it. After we've named the task, we can then choose the key stage and then the subject. In this case, I'll choose GCSE and I'll choose Maths and then Maths Foundation. This will then display the associated activities. We can then select an activity. We can also preview the activity by clicking the magnifying glass here. We can then scroll right through the activity from the beginning right the way through to the end, just to make sure that we're happy with setting this type of activity. We can also click on the little question mark at the top of the activity, which will then bring up details of the activity such as how long it should take and what its main focus is. Once we're happy with that, we can choose the activity, select other activities, and then we can select the students that we want to complete the activity. Lastly, we can choose a start date and time and also an end date and time, and we're done. Some key benefits of setting tasks include: firstly, you'll receive an email when the task is due with a PDF report advising who did the task and who didn't, what their mark was, because all work will be already marked, which will obviously have huge time-saving benefits for you. So now we've seen that we can set tasks for classes, let's have a look at setting tasks for groups. You as a teacher can create your own groups. From looking at mine, you can see that I have created intervention groups, subject groups, and also a gifted and talented group. Moving along our tab bar, you can see that we can also view stats to help us with an overall view of how Sam Learning is being used, such as viewing usage by month, by subject, by year group, or even a summary of all of these by clicking on School Summary. We can also have a look further into student progress by choosing Reports. This will provide us with a much more granular view, a much more detailed look at how students are progressing. So here for an example, we can monitor progress for Year 11 students. If I choose the key stage and the year group, this will bring up all of the relevant information for these search fields. We can see the amount of time that's been spent using SAM Learning. We can also see the amount of time of outside school hours, the average overall score for completed activities, and even an overall split of time spent on the different types of activities. From here we can go even further and having a look at an individual student and track the difference in their first and last attempt of an activity. Now there are different types of activity to choose from on SAM Learning, and here are a few examples. We have improve activities. These are designed to help a student overcome any difficulties they are having in a given topic and typically will take no longer than about 3 minutes to complete. There are also Revise Plus activities, designed to help a student revise the key facts for a given subject using a range of different question types, and these typically would take no longer than about 10 minutes to complete. As with all the 70,000 questions on SAM Learning, the student will get instant feedback after completing the activity. And they may want to repeat the activity until they are satisfied with their score. Obviously, a student can complete the activities as many times as they feel necessary. As well as test questions, there are a staggering 20,000 exam-style questions mapped to the correct exam boards, allowing a student to practice all their techniques that they've learnt. As you can see, these are timed. Once the student has completed their answer, they can click on Mark My Work over on the right hand side here, which will in turn bring up a marking guide that we'll have a look at when we scroll down. You can see that it's in blue. This will enable them to click in the relevant boxes on the right hand side based on how many marks that they've earned. After they've ticked in these boxes, they can click Get My Score, which will bring up an instant grade and some instant feedback for them. So let's have a quick look at SAM Learning from the student's perspective. We can see that there are 3 activities set and which teacher has set them, as well as when the work is due. Students can also monitor and review their own progress per subject, and they can also gauge progress by activity points. You'll have noticed these characters here. Let me introduce you to SAM World and the avatars. Students choose an avatar and can challenge other students using SAM Learning. The more activities they complete, the more points they earn as they travel through SAM World. If we click on My Profile, we can choose our avatar. There's about 100 to choose from. We can select our peers to compete against, or decide to make ourselves invisible to anyone else. And all of the medals and points earned are stored here in a student's trophy card. Brilliant! So we're on track to start using SAM Learning. Remember, your students can use SAM Learning at home as much as they like to help them with their preparation. So this brings us on to the when. When should your students be using SAM Learning? Well, ideally all year round. Certainly with a focus on the lead up to the exams, but spreading the work means that students aren't in a panic at the end, and this gives their brain time to consolidate what it has learned. Students often ask whether there is a certain amount of time that they need to use SAM Learning for. As with most things, the more they put in, the more they get out, but a very good target to aim for is 10 hours across the school year. In fact, the Fisher Family Trust have independently proven that for those students who use SAM Learning for 10 hours plus, they witnessed a significant improvement in their GCSE results. So what does the Fisher Family Trust data really mean? Well, for a student using SAM Learning for 10 hours plus, they could achieve a higher grade in 2 subjects. There is evidence of some student groups showing improvement in grade in 3.5 subjects. And with 6 years of data across 2.8 million students, we know that SAM Learning is making this real positive difference. Okay, That completes the presentation. I hope that you found it useful. If you have any questions, please do ask your SAM Learning coordinator at the school or speak to the SAM Learning Support Department direct. Thanks very much for watching.